Hey guys. Alright, first a little background on objective and subjective morality. Objective morality holds that right and wrong are not determined by a society or human opinion. They exist outside of mankind. Belief in God is not necessary to recognize these moral truths. In fact, all humans have an innate ability to recognize a realm of objective moral truths. So for example, humans deem love, generosity, and self-sacrifice to be good things, and we deem rape, murder, and torturing innocent babies for fun to be evil. Right, wrong, good, evil, and fairness exist in our common sense. We generally know what we ought to do and feel guilty when we do not do it. Now, subjective morality holds that whatever a society deems to be moral at a given time is moral. So whoever has the most power is able to force others to accept their morals. In fact, morals are really only a byproduct of socio-biological evolution, and there is no truth in them. If someone is behaving in a way you feel is immoral, then you have no grounds to tell them that they're wrong. All you can accurately say is that your opinion differs from theirs. It reduces morality to a preference, and with no one preference being greater than another, the only reason to obey the law is because of incentives. There is nothing truly wrong with doing actions against the law, seeing as there is no right and wrong, but you might get in trouble if you break some of those laws. Now, since I hold to objective morality, I can say things like the idea that it is morally acceptable to rape children is wrong, just as 2 + 2 = 19 is wrong. I can say that with assurance, but if you believe in subjective morality, all you can really say is that you would not prefer others rape children, and you wouldn't do so yourself. Now, under subjective morality, morality is merely a preference. So whether you like chocolate or vanilla ice cream is on the same level as whether you prefer slavery or equality, Hitler or Mother Teresa. So, however, the idea that a choice between chocolate and vanilla ice cream is equivalent to the choice between killing or saving someone is counterintuitive. Now, in Thunderf00t's video, he mentions that an apologist may have lied about a story he told because the event of his story changes locations. Now, I truly do hope that the apologist was merely mistaken and not making his story up, because from a Christian point of view, well, that would be wrong. So let's take a look at his video.
Piranhas, ruthless pack killing machines, right? But notice, even in the feeding frenzy, they don't kill each other. Piranhas do not believe in a god, yet they don't do whatever they want. Where do these ruthless killing machines get their moral code about not killing each other from?
Now, animals don't have morality. Animals can't even comprehend morality. They simply behave in rationally self-interested ways. So there are no moral implications to the actions of a piranha. They merely respond to incentives. The piranha has incentives to work in a group in order to take down larger prey. But when those incentives change, the weaker piranhas better watch out. In this video, we clearly have several immoral piranhas. I mean, just look at the piranha on the right. He is ashamed of himself. He feels very guilty because he has sinned. If you still think piranhas don't eat each other, you should take it up with these 4.5 piranhas, or these. Alright, back to your video.
That there is such a thing as sunrise, then you must accept that there is a supernatural, all-powerful being lifting the sun into the air on a giant jack. If God is not jacking it, there is no sunrise. If there is no sunrise, there is no light. If there is no light, there is no dark. Oh, what is your question? Yep, that's right. Proposing a supernatural explanation for sunrise is just as credible as proposing one for morality.
Your delivery was persuasive, but your argument irrelevant. The sun doesn't even rise, so to say that that necessitates a sunriser is just bad. I think you missed the point. But let me summarize the apologist's point for you. If God is real, objective moral values are real. Morality came to exist through whatever method God chose to implant it in us, and we are aware of these morals because God intended us to know of them. If God is not real, then morals are just a figment of the imagination. There is no reason to accept others or society's morals as true. Good and evil do not actually exist. There is no reason one should not behave in whichever way you please. It doesn't even matter if you give to charity or mass murder, as these are merely preferences. People certainly don't act as if right and wrong are merely a preference. They act as if right and wrong objectively exist, and they should, because it does. The best explanation for objective morals to exist is the existence of an objective moral lawgiver. So back to the video.
For instance, wolves will pool caring for their cubs, but don't eat each other just because no one else is looking. So where is the moral lawgiver here, Zach?
Animals cannot comprehend morality, and nobody is arguing animals should be held to moral laws. I think a better question is, why do you keep asking unrelated questions?
Good is usually used to describe behaviours that benefit society, and evil those that are detrimental to it.
Here's a problem with subjective morality being determined by a society. If a society determines what is right and wrong, people like Martin Luther King, who oppose the social norm, are behaving immorally. Under this worldview, if Hitler had taken over and the world was brainwashed so everyone thought that killing Jews was okay, it would become the moral thing to do. I believe that even if culture deemed Hitler's actions to be acceptable, it would still be, objectively, morally wrong.
Now there will be those who claim that morals are not relative and so on. These are people who have lived sheltered and pampered lives.
Wow, that's just a blatant ad hominem. Just because you call someone sheltered or pampered, even if it is true, does not make their point of view invalid. So, moving on.
Let's put our two families with their absolute morals on an island with only enough food or medical supplies or whatever to sustain one of them. Yeah, absolute morality evaporates quick enough when such individuals are removed from the opulent luxury of a modern society.
Alright, when a fireman runs into a building and loses his life to save others, we believe the fireman died trying to do what is right or good. Morality is not self-interested. If you know what the right thing is to do, then you know what the moral thing is to do. That does not mean you would choose to do the moral decision, however. The moral action in your hypothetical case was to put the needs of others before your own. Just because you do not choose the moral action does not mean the moral action does not exist. I mean, even if a person convinces himself he was justified and murdered the other family on the island, he would still be in violation of an objective moral law. Even if there is a hypothetical instance in which you cannot discern the appropriate moral action, that does not mean that objective morals do not exist. So here's a hypothetical situation for you. If a person commits murder and gets away with it, and later feels guilty and turns himself in, it is not rationally self-interested that he turned himself in, nor does he seek to benefit the society by turning himself in. So why does it appear that he feels guilty for offending the moral lawgiver? The person may not even believe in objective morals, but he feels like he ought to turn himself in. Perhaps he feels guilty because he is guilty of breaking an objective moral law.
You're probably asking the question, how can I work out if my actions are more or less moral than anyone else's? Assess your actions, and if you think they will increase the standard of living and the happiness of society.
Under your view of subjective morality, why should I accept your idea of what is moral? After all, that's just your preference. I mean, what reason do I have to accept that increasing the standard of living and happiness of society is even a good thing? I mean, I think you're right. We should increase the standard of living and happiness in a society. In fact, I think it's common sense. It's common sense and it's an objective moral truth. So remember, God loves you, and so do I.